All right. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I'm very excited to be here with you this Wednesday morning. Thank you for everybody who is tuning into this. Welcome to our second leadership breakfast for the Vote ATL series. Woo woo! Yay! Awesome! Great. This place is packed. You won't even believe it. There are like people. There's no one in here. This is where in the times of COVID, I wish we could have a full room of people engaging, but want to take as many safety precautions as we can. But that's why we are delivering this to you right in your own home. So if you're in your pajamas or you're getting your coffee or you're on your commute, thank you for tuning in. And I think this is going to be a great conversation. I'll give you a little bit of information about the Center for Civic Innovation and our Vote ATL series, and then we will jump right into the conversation today. So I wanted to start with, the Center for Civic Innovation is a 7-year-old organization that has been getting into good and necessary trouble to solve inequality in our city. The way that we do that is in 3 ways. The first is to make sure that people are informed about inequality and inspired to do something about it. The second is to invest and amplify in the work of people who've been doing the work, our city's leaders, community leaders, entrepreneurs, movement builders, making sure that their work is able to grow and scale to support as many people as possible. And the third and final thing that we do is advocate and push for policy change. And we do that through high quality research, through community-based research as well, and focusing on how we can improve community engagement and also improve the way that we invest in our city's leaders. And so this Vote ATL series is a partnership with a number of amazing organizations and entities across town. So I want to give a big shout out to the Connect in Westview. I want to give a shout out to Community Movement Builders in Pittsburgh, and also want to shout out Blue and Green Consulting in Ashview Heights. We've been working with these trusted leaders and organizations who have been inside a community doing the work for a long time. So really want to thank them. Also want to thank On the Grid Creative, which is helping bring this thing to life. We are in their beautiful studio today. They've been grateful to work with us on this space. And also want to shout out Butter ATL because they are funnier than us and a lot cooler than us. But more importantly, that we are aligned on just making sure that this content gets to as many people as possible. 4 years ago, there was a local election, and we interviewed every mayoral candidate during that time, saying that we wanted to heighten people's attention around local elections. Here we are 4 years later doing the same exact thing. This Leadership Breakfast series is around making sure that folks can understand who the candidates are, where they come from, what they stand for, and what their vision is to solve inequality in this city. This is our second in a series of breakfasts. We are doing this every Wednesday morning. You can tune into these. So this morning I am excited to be able to sit down for the first time with Roosevelt Searles III. So thank you so much for being here, Roosevelt.
Yes,
appreciate
you for having me.
Yeah, very grateful for you to be here. We're going to have an opportunity. If you want to ask questions, you can ask it in the Facebook chat. You can also send it to us online. We're happy to take those questions as folks have it. So, Roosevelt, thanks for being here. Where are you coming in from? Where are you commuting in from?
I'm actually commuting in from my restaurant in Decatur,
Okay.
Panthersville Road.
Okay.
So not far from here, like 10 minutes.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Yep.
I'm going to start you with the same question that we start everyone off with, which is, why do you do what you do? Where does your kind of commitment and love for public service come from?
Well, it really comes from playing cops and robbers with my mom.
Okay.
Which
one were you?
Both.
Okay.
No, I'm not gonna lie. She was the robber. She was always the robber.
Okay,
I was
got it.
always the cop, right?
Got it.
But like we would have the handcuffs. We would do the whole nine. But like that's really where it started at, and this was like it just grew from there. I always thought about like being a judge. Or I just thought about all the different avenues I could go with public service. But I never thought that I would end up as a 911 operator. So at 18, that's what I did. And I thought I was going to be an officer. But then I ended up going into the business avenue and opening up business and things like that. So,
yeah.
That brought me to here. I wanted to run for president. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But I said, you know what? They don't have any power. You know, they do, but not where I live.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? And so that's why I said, you know what?
And you're saying President of the United States,
The
right?
United States.
Got
Yeah,
it. Okay.
definitely.
And how old are you?
24.
Okay. So, train gone by. So you're 24 years old. So you technically can't even run for president, even if you wanted to.
Right? I got like what 10 years, 11
Yeah,
years
yeah,
almost.
yeah.
You know. So,
Got it.
But that was my vision.
Got it.
You know, I said I was going to wait until that time.
Got it.
No
Okay.
more waiting.
Got it. How does it's? I can draw the line of how playing cops and robbers gets you to politics, but you know, what for you? You know, have you had any early experiences with political movement building, with you know, with advocacy, with politics? Like, what's your experience with that?
So with the politics, to be exact, no. So in school, I did the student council and like the what is it called? You know, we had like a school government. You know, so we had our presidents and things of that nature. But we also had ROTC. So I went to a Jonesboro High School, and I was there for the whole 4 years, and I graduated in 2015. And pretty much I was in ROTC. I started out in 9th grade, and that really, I mean, I don't know if it was just at that school, but they were almost like the military. I felt like I was in the military, in the different positions that I was holding. It really prepared me for, I would just say, life and the business sector once I actually graduated. But when it comes to my adult life and politics and actually being in the community, it's more so about nonprofit work. That's where I put my focus at. So I actually have a nonprofit organization called the National Fresh Start and Assistance Institute that I founded last year, or 2018, I'm sorry. And before that, I had the Atlanta Freedom Project. And so that's kind of where my focus has been, community. And unfortunately, I haven't had as much help as I would want, just probably because I haven't been broadcasting myself as much. But, you know, that's definitely where I've been at.
I got you. Before we get into the political side of it, I want to get a sense of your background and who you are. Tell me about your family and like where you grew up, and tell me. It sounds like your mom and you were close. You know, tell me maybe a little bit about her and about, you know, where you grew up.
Okay, sure. So my mom, you know, she raised me by herself. You know, my dad, he put in monetarily, but, you know, my mom, she was definitely, you know, the both. You know, you always need the material and you also need the love and support, right?
Yeah.
So she was both of that. And then as far as, you know, growing up, basically, I don't know if you're familiar with Penelope Neighbors or like Westlake or Harbor Homes or Hamilton E. Homes area, but that's where I grew up. And I remember Magnolia Park specifically because my cousins lived there, and so like that's kind of where I lived too, because my mom always, like, we were very close-knit family, and so like Ashby Station, we would go to, it used to be a Publix before they turned it into the Walmart.
Yeah.
But like that whole little area, that was our stomping grounds. We were, you know, we would just do a lot of things. I'll just say that.
Okay.
You know, we had a lot of fun, right?
Okay.
But my family, we all grew up here in Atlanta. Everybody is from Atlanta. I don't know no one outside of Atlanta.
Yeah.
So like that's just all I know.
Yeah. What do you think that it is that people, you know, today when they talk about this city, what did they get wrong? I mean, you grew up here. This is home. You know the city intimately. When you hear people talking about Atlanta today, what is it that you think folks just don't get right?
That everybody is the same.
Okay. You think people are going around being like, oh, Atlanta, everyone's the same over there?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like because they always use us as a as a general term, Atlanta, those people in Atlanta, or everybody in Atlanta, or most people just say Atlanta in general.
Yeah.
They're not really specific to the group of people that they're talking about.
Okay.
And so I think that, when it comes to, like, just say for instance, being ghetto, well, everybody that looks like me in Atlanta is necessarily ghetto, right? Coming outside of, or uses slang, or, talks a certain way, or listens to a certain type of music. There's a lot of different things that people coming from the outside that I've heard, because I meet a lot of people that didn't grow up here.
Yeah.
So, I always tell people, you flew here, I grew here.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about what you think is going on.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And for you, what do you think is the most important thing for someone who's not from here, someone who flew here, to know about those who grew here?
That we have compassion and we love just like anybody else. We're not all angry or robbing or stealing or killing or shooting, and everyone's not poor, blacks, whites, Hispanics, it is definitely a lot of low income individuals and areas as well. However, I think that's more so based off of our spending habits. There's over $1 trillion in spending power in our community. And people always say, well, I'm broke, I don't have this, I don't have that. No, you got lashes on, you got your hair done, you got a nice car, so I think we have to redirect our focus on how we spend our money too.
Okay. So where, did you go to high school in Atlanta?
No, so that's why I was actually having a conversation outside with one of the staff members, and my mother, she wanted me to go to school, I'll just say in a different area.
Okay.
Because there was a lot going on during that time that I was growing up. And so, we did use a different, address for me to go to school in Clayton County.
Okay, so you went to school in Clayton County. You're living in Atlanta.
Correct.
Got it. And so what'd you do after high school?
911. Literally, as soon as I graduated, I was about to go to the military because I did the ROTC thing for 4 years. I was a group commander when I left.
Yeah.
So I was over 380 students. And so, that was just the path I was going. They were like, hey, you got a 3.8, you got a full ride scholarship, like, what are you going to do? And I'm like, I don't know. So I ended up becoming a 911 dispatcher. I just applied. I didn't think I was going to get the job, So once I did, I was just super excited. And once I got in there, I really started to love it. Like, it was like one of the best jobs I ever had. It could have turned into a career had I took it more seriously. So yeah.
Okay. So what's from there you become a 911 operator. What
take you a little bit further, right?
Yeah. What happens next?
Okay. So after that, that's when after I left there, I was there for like 2 years. That's when a lot of the smaller jobs, because I had held jobs before that, but that's when a lot of other jobs started to come in that were like management positions. And then basically I also kind of went downhill as well, because the reason why I left Clayton County Dispatch was because I wasn't going to work. They would give you like certain amount of hours, like off times, and like I was 18, right? And so they would still pay you for the hours that you took off. And so I'm like, well, hey, I have 30 hours of off time. I'm going to use them, but I was abusing them, right? And so that's just one situation I'm just using as an example that kind of helped me make better decisions, as I became an adult. But I ended up becoming homeless as well during this time of just finding jobs. I did go to college as well, Georgia Military College, for a year. I balanced that at the same time that I was a 911 operator. it was a lot of stress
Yep.
to balance both of those at the same time.
Yep.
But you know, at 14, I'm a Pisces, right? So I've always had like 10 things going on at one time. So at 14, I started a lawn care service, and from there, I always had a business going on. So in addition to the job or the school or whatever I was doing, it was always some type of business I was running or pursuing. I am a business coach, and I've been one since I was 16. So like my family, they come to me for everything. Friends, they come to me for everything, especially when it's mostly regarding business, how to open a business accounts, you know, websites. I've been building those since I was 15. My average website, I may charge $500 for it, and you know, I've been doing that for quite some time. I stopped doing it once I opened my restaurant.
But you put some time into starting a business.
Definitely.
Like do you think anybody can just walk in and start a business?
I do.
Okay. And so how does you know, if I'm, you know, if I never started a business before, what's and I've never, you know, I don't really know the ins and outs. What do I need to do to start before I put a bunch of money into starting it or running it? What should I do?
Well, first you have to have find a passion for something.
Okay.
I always tell
I love pizza. So what? All right. So let's open a shop with me,
All right.
if you will. Right. So I love pizza. I've never dabbled with pizza before. I don't know what it is. I know I like to eat it. That's it. So what should I do?
You love pizza and you know you like to eat it.
So should I open a pizza shop?
You should.
Okay.
But guess what? You should probably find someone who already has a pizza shop, right?
Okay.
And who's already doing, let's just say, $1 million a year in revenue, and see if they want to open another location.
Why should I go find someone who's already done it?
Because you don't want to reinvent the wheel.
Okay.
If you're not a chef.
Okay. So if I don't have the experience of finding a pizza shop or starting a pizza shop or making pizza, I should go find someone who does.
Yep.
Back them for a little while and then go
on your own.
Okay.
Because they'll be able to, you'll have a million questions, right? And so they'll be able to answer those for you when you're going, you know, throughout your process or your
How
journey.
long will that take? How long should I do that for? Should I do that just for a couple months, or do you think I need to put a couple years in?
I always tell people 6 months to a year. Okay. That's just for me. You know, I'm pretty adaptable. So 6 months to a year, I think you'll be good. As an adult, you know, I tell people you can start a business at any age. So like if you're 13, you're 12, 14, 15, you probably need about 2 to 3 years under the belt of a good mentor. But as an adult, you know, it also just depends on where you are along the process. If that person that's mentoring you sees that, you know, you got it, then and you feel comfortable, then, you know, you can go ahead and start doing your own LLC or go ahead and do what you need to do.
Yeah. So I guess my question for you then, right, is you seem like you understand business coaching, that the way that you got to get something done if you really want to be, you know, the person who is running and leading the thing, right, like a pizza shop.
Right.
What you just said to me was, you know, you got to have the passion, right, which you have.
Right.
But then you should kind of put yourself under the wing of someone who's done it before so that you can understand the ins and outs of it before you make, you know, challenging mistakes of your own that could be detrimental. Why aren't you taking the same advice for running for mayor?
That's a good question. So the reason why I'm not taking the same advice politically is because I don't really like politicians.
That's not an answer to the question, right?
No, this is I'm going to give you one exactly. Yeah. Because you have to, in order to learn from somebody in an avenue that you're going into, I always say do it from somebody who's already doing it, right?
No doubt.
So like for me, I can't really name just at this exact moment. I mean, I definitely can, but like that I can connect with immediately, that's already in the political world. I'll just say that. And so,
What about non-elected officials? The folks who are in, because you would argue in a pizza shop, it's not the owner whose face is on the front that's just, twirling a pizza.
Right.
It's the chef.
Right.
It's the folks who work in the restaurant. It's the folks who keep the lights on there. Like, do you work with anybody inside of City Hall? Do you have a mentor inside of City Hall that has shown you, like, this is how the city actually works and operates?
nope, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. No.
Yeah.
So everything that, when you go to my website or anything that you hear from me, it really comes from what I've prayed for, what I've asked for. When I was incarcerated, I found, what my purpose was to be here. Because I was doing a lot of things that I didn't know. I just was trying to find my life. And so he sat me down, and I was able to really narrow down my decision on what I wanted to do in life. And so
this is a faith calling for you more
go.
than anything else.
More than anything else, this is really a faith calling. Like, when I'm sitting at home and I'm doing my plan, or when I'm writing this stuff out, it's literally just flowing. It's just coming out. It's almost as if, like, it's being sent to me as a message. And I'm not exaggerating. My mom would tell you, she'll say, "Boy, you don't know, what are you talking about? You don't know nothing about this stuff." And when she looks at it, she's like, "Wow, wow." Yeah. When I show her my book, because I wrote a book, Rebuilding Black Wall Street. When I showed her that, she just couldn't believe it. She's like, "You don't got nothing to talk about in here." And I'm like, "Read it. Read it. It's 75 pages. Take a look."
So look, I have two ways I can take this interview, right? And I want to hesitate to do the first way because I don't think it's going to serve either one of us well, right? The first way is I can grill you on the nuances of City Hall and the budget and kind of the different departments and particular pieces of legislation and actual, like, people that you would be working with, what that's going to look like as mayor. But based on what you are saying, it doesn't look like that is where you have focused your energy and attention, right?
Right.
So if I did that, I don't think it would be a good look for either one of us, right?
Okay.
On the flip side, like, I think you are a young leader who I actually think has not just passion, but, like, you have lived experience, right? I think it's very easy to cut down folks with lived experience. Like, you're more Atlanta than most people who are running in this election. I will say that, right? You grew up here, you saw it, you've experienced you have lived experience with a lot of the things that folks are going to be putting on their platforms for how they are going to solve. And I would say that, having people with lived experience in the room is extremely important when you're developing out public policy, right? So, I think that, what's your pathway? Because if you're really like, look, I'm going to win this thing, then let's talk about that and we can get into it and I will challenge you on that. Okay? But if this is about, like, following, look, the last person I'm going to fight is God, right? So I'm not here to argue with your faith-driven work. So if that's your faith and that's what you want to do, then you have every right to do that. But I also don't want to. I want to know whether you actually think you're going to win this thing. And if you actually think you're going to win this thing, then you're going to have to show me and provide to me the strategy for how you're going to get there. And if you are just trying to make sure your voice is out there and that you are heard and that you just follow this and see where it takes you, then we could talk just a little bit more about you and your background and just make sure that, the things that you want to be able to let people know about yourself is out there. So which way do you want to go?
I actually want to touch on a little bit of the first one, and then we can go the second round.
Okay, so I'll just start off with, like, how big is the budget of the city of Atlanta?
So, from what I heard recently, Kasim Reed managed a budget of $14 billion. That's what I heard.
Okay.
During his tenure. But currently, when I looked at, because I did go over the report that Keisha, or Miss Lansbottom, she released the budget report, because every year they have to release a report. And I can't put an exact dollar on it. You
should be able to if you're running for mayor, right? You would agree with that? At the end of the day, if you're running for mayor, you should be able to tell me what the budget of the city of Atlanta is.
You're
right?
absolutely
Like,
right, yeah.
so that's what I'm saying. Like, I gain no benefit here out of like grilling you on this. You still want to go down this path?
I mean, this is the thing for me. The budget, I don't really care what the budget is.
Of course you do. Look at this, man. Of course you care about what the budget is. You got a plan. And as I said, I'm not here to knock you out. Like, I think you're a really brilliant, like, dude. I really do.
Right.
I think, like, at the end of the day, again, people can talk about this, put fancy words on it. You just say what you've experienced and what you've seen. You got a plan. Every single one of these things will require a budget. And will require you to have an understanding of the city of Atlanta's budget for you to be able to get here. Right. Just like a pizza shop is going to require you to understand cheese, right? Like this is, if you don't understand the cheese of the city, then I think we're in trouble, right? So I think that people are going to hear that and say, I like this.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So when I say I don't care about the budget, that's meaning that at this present moment, the budget is not the concern of the people.
Of course it is.
I mean,
how could you say that? Give me any concern and show me how it doesn't tie directly to the budget.
Okay, I'll say that because those are not the concerns that I've heard. That's the only reason.
Based on what your concerns that you've listed out, right? Public safety, that's a budget concern, right? The experience with homelessness, which your solution requires a budgetary. You want to have some city-run affordable housing. That would require a budget. Entrepreneurship training, that would require a budget. Healthcare, the city of Atlanta doesn't really deal with healthcare. The police and the people, we have a department of that. That's going to require a budget. City code enforcement, going to require a budget. Investigations and audits, we're going to have to hire some people to do those investigations and audits, right? I'm not going to keep going, but you get my drift, which is like you said that these are the most important things in the city.
I think the budget is what's behind the problem. That's how you fix the problem.
Absolutely. And what do people want in a mayor? Someone who?
Right. I understand. This is the thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if people know this, but there's a class that you have to go through before. You can't just sign up to become the mayor and then you just walk in and you go to the desk and you just start. You actually have to go through a training process, right? And so there's going to be people that help me through this transition. There's a whole administration of people that are already there.
Yeah, but they're going to have to want to work for you because they believe in your ability to understand the budget.
Correct. So that's the thing. If I can run 5 businesses, then I think I can understand a budget, right?
But you just told me that the budget of Atlanta was $14 billion. No,
I didn't say that.
You said Kasim Reed managed a budget of $14 billion, and you weren't sure what it was under Keisha Lance Bottoms. All I'm getting at is that we can go point by point. Yep. And we could do that. What I guess I'm saying is that I want to make sure that there's actually a reason you are running, which is that you care about these issues. Right. I want to know your pathway to winning over 50% of this city's voting base. When right now we don't have many people following your campaign. You said that. Yeah, I don't have. So how do you win this election? Do you plan to win this election?
Well, I am going to win it.
So tell me how you're going to win it.
This is the thing. There's always a 50%. Well, not always, but that's what the requirement is, right? 50% or over 50%. But no one. The last election that they didn't.
Yeah, this will likely go to a runoff. You're accurate. Right? Yes.
So that's not really my focus. My focus is more so on getting my message out and actually talking to people and figuring out what their problem is. Like, I definitely understand. I need to know the budget.
Roosevelt, that's why I like you, is because your first thing is, I want to go out there, I want to listen to people, I want to talk to people, and I think you should do that. Yeah. I think that's a great thing to do. I don't think you need to run for mayor to do that.
Right.
I think you should be doing that regardless. Right. I think it would make you a formidable candidate for a number of things. Right. You still haven't filed, right? Like you file by Friday. Have you filed?
Yeah. So we actually go Friday at 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you go Friday at 10 o'clock, you still have the opportunity to think about where are you living? Where do you live? Like, what district do you live in?
Yeah.
So what district are you in?
I'm in Antonio's district.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got an open seat in District 3,
Yep.
right? Where literally there are not many candidates. Look, I can't, as a 501c3,
right.
tell you one way or another what to do.
Right.
I'm just going to state the facts here, right? Which is you have a district that has someone who is has been there for less than the full 4 years, who is running for mayor. That is now an open seat. There will be a lot, and Antonio was also a young person who ran for that seat, right? You have school board seats that are open. You have a lot of seats that are open, right? And you're not able to paint a path to win over 50% of this city's vote, right? What in your decision making says, but at the end of the day, I need to be mayor. I don't want to potentially be a school board member. I don't want to be a council member. Is that, I get the faith element of it, but is there maybe a touch of ego in there?
No, so it's not necessarily about the ego. It's about what the person can do in their position. That's why I said I was going to run for president, right? Because the change that I'm trying to make is, unfortunately, it just can't be done on those levels.
These things that you are saying,
because let me
you're
give you an example. Let me just give you an example, right? A lot of the things that I have said in this plan, there have been other council members that kind of wanted to do the same thing, right? But we're not there. I just watched Antonio last week say all the things that he's wanted to do, and you say, well, or other people say, well, why haven't you done them? And it's just, unfortunately, in his position, it's difficult, when you're dealing with.
I think that this is where both my conversation with you and Antonio, it's odd that there's a belief that the role of the mayor will be any less difficult or have No. It is not going to be you just come in and have executive authority to say we will do this and we will do that. No. Like that's not the way that works.
I don't
so I'm trying to understand without asking directly, like what makes the decision to have you considered any other seats?
No, because this is the thing.
And you have till Friday to consider other seats, correct?
Friday, right. But you have to understand, when you believe in something and when you really know that you can do something, then it's nothing that anybody that really can say to me, like, you can call my mom now, she'll tell you. They all told me.
Can we call your mom right now?
You really could.
Do you have your phone? Can we call your mom? All right, can you call your mom right now?
Sure.
Put her on speakerphone, please.
They'll tell you, hey, I told him you can't open a restaurant.
Okay.
You can't do this.
All right, let's call your mom right now. Let's see if she picks up. Yeah, let's see if she picks up.
She should be watching.
Okay, but don't tell her anything. I'm gonna just ask her the question directly.
She's watching.
Yeah, that's right. Look, it's your mom and my mom watching right now, so it's great. And is your mom's last name Searles or Sears as well?
Mosley.
Mosley?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nope, not getting any service.
Not getting any service?
Because you know where we are.
Yeah. In an internet desert. Are you actually calling her, or are you just telling me you're not getting? Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I'm calling her. Looking for the city, right?
Yeah.
I'm calling her, you guys, but
yeah,
she will answer if it went through. But
yeah,
I'll just tell you, like,
we'll get you on the Wi-Fi, and we could give her a call.
Yeah.
Look, my point is that I'm not going to sit here and have a debate or an argument with your faith. Like, that is not at all what I'm saying. Nor do I believe that two things cannot be true at once, which is that people can believe in you, can like really, I think you can accomplish anything you put your mind to. I think you are qualified. You are, you are working on the issues. Like you care about these issues. I don't think that means that that the jump to that should be, well, this should be the mayor of Atlanta.
Right.
And I think that the reason I'm saying this to you particularly is there are going to be young people who are going to watch this, right? Mm-hmm. Who are, 24 years old, sitting here being like, I really want to make a dent and a difference. And this is, honestly, I've been the 24-year-old in the room that everybody says is too young to do the thing. But the best piece of advice I've ever gotten in my life was that it takes 10 years to get 10 years of experience. And I think that for me, it's not that you're too young to do this. It's that the things you want to accomplish, which I think are bold and interesting things, require a bit of time in the pizza shop, right? They just require a little bit of like understanding of these issue areas so that if you are mayor and you are to implement certain things, that we don't cause more harm, even unintentionally. As you can imagine growing up here, right? There are a lot of people with good faith that do things that maybe unintentionally cause a lot of harm for kids, right?
Are you talking about something specific?
I think that if you don't have the understanding of how to push a budgetary priority, like if you're not able to introduce a piece of legislation or to be able to work with council on actually designing and developing a legislation around the things that you care about, right? There is the possibility, and a high possibility, that those things don't happen. So that's first likely possibility. Second thing is that it gets co-opted, or how many programs do we have around public safety that have still not been good to young black kids, right?
So that's why I'm running. That's why I'm telling you the things that are.
But shouldn't you have an understanding of the police department before you?
Yeah, that's why I worked for them.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why I wanted to be one, and that's why I've been through so many different situations and experiences. Like a lot of people can't say they wrote a book or had a business or been to jail or been fired from a job.
I agree.
Been homeless or like.
I admit it. I think your lived experience is a separating factor for you. So I agree with that.
For me, it's more so also about wisdom and adaptability. Age really doesn't put too much.
I wasn't commenting on your age. I'm talking about your experience in public policy.
Okay. So,
that's all.
And for public policy, I think that if you look at some of the policies that I want to implement, then you'll be able to understand that I do understand it to a certain extent, right? So when we're talking about the actual number of how much the budget is currently, like I said, I'm not gonna lie and say, yeah, I know.
No, I appreciate that. Some people would just lie. Yeah,
right.
That's
right.
I'm
trying to make up a number, but
that's right.
I'll tell you that I did look at her report, and I don't remember because there were a lot of numbers. I was more so focused on where the money was going, not how much we had to budget, because that's what the part.
So where is the main place money was going?
Main place of money.
What's the biggest expense for the city of Atlanta?
The biggest expense was what I seen was affordable housing. They spent a lot of money. Well, not affordable housing.
No,
that wasn't it. It was. She just recently, $250 million.
By the way, it's not just she. This is the city of Atlanta, right?
Well, she initiated the legislation. I guess. Of course,
the mayor has to sign the budget. That is correct. Yes.
But I believe it was like some type of. I don't know if it was a grant or a bond, but it was $250 million that was given to the nonprofit, like United Way and such, for housing, for a housing issue. Okay. So I think like money, that type of money being spent shows you where the issues are. Like that, where the most money is going is where this is probably going to be where the issue is at, right? But again, as far as how specific the budget is and the ins and outs of it, that's something that's going to have to be taught with any job. Like the mayor it's a job. So with any job, you do have to be taught how to perform it or how to do it. You definitely need to have some experience.
But to be at the head of the table should have required some sort of. I'm not even saying that you had to have been an elected official before.
Right.
That is not what. Let me be very clear. I am not saying. I believe that if you have not been an elected official before, that you should not be the mayor of Atlanta.
Gotcha.
Not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that I got friends who have been in the city for years, right? Who names that folks don't know.
Right.
But what they're doing is learning like, okay, if this is the Department of Transportation, this is what it does. This is what it doesn't do, right? If this is the Department of Innovation and Technology, this is what it does. This is what it doesn't do.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Watershed.
So the reason why I'm not going that route is because we're pressed for time. So like, Atlanta, we don't have time for me to learn those things.
We do have time for you to learn those things. If
Like
you are the mayor,
before-
you have to
I'm talking
learn
about
those things.
Before I become the mayor. Meaning because at this present moment, the issues that we have, I haven't seen a candidate that's going to fix them or that's going to look towards fixing them. I've been on their websites and I've looked through some things, and we have, unfortunately, candidates that are under investigation, and that's another reason why that's pushing me, not why I'm running, but that's pushing me to continue to run.
Look, I like that's what I'm saying. Like, I would have ended this interview 20 minutes ago
Right.
if I didn't actually believe that you have a real voice that needs to be heard. Like, again, I think that we often undercut folks who want to do public service at a young age. With you, this isn't just some academic exercise for you. Like, this isn't just something you read in a book. You wrote a book about it, right? Like, I got you, right? I actually respect you for that. And I think that at the end of the day, like, people could talk about what they know about Atlanta, but you've lived it, you've breathed it. Like, your experience is relevant. I am with you on every single one of those points. I think when I think about the role of the executive,
Right.
The mayor, you have not yet articulated for me, right, what it is about your experience, understanding, professional experience that makes you best suited of all the roles that are available for you to be at the head of the office in a time of real crisis, right? This city honestly doesn't have time for games.
Right.
And at the end of the day, one bad mood by the mayor, even an experienced mayor, can be detrimental to generations of people, which is why it's high risk to put someone in who doesn't have that type of experience.
So what do you think is our biggest crisis right now?
What do I think is our biggest crisis? You're the one getting interviewed. I'm not running for mayor.
I just want to, you said we have the crisis that we're in right now is really big. So I'm trying to figure out what do you think is the biggest crisis that I would not be able to.
Those are two different questions. There's a lot of things I don't think you're going to be able to do.
Well,
that's my
specifically with the crisis.
on the crisis side. I think your lack of understanding on housing, I think, will be pretty detrimental to actually being able to push affordable housing. I think we'll end up getting played by a lot of folks who are going to come in and build and push out a lot of people. We're already seeing mass displacement. I don't see a real plan around how you would address that.
Have you seen it or have you looked at it?
Oh, I have. Yes, I did my homework. You didn't do yours. So there's a difference, right? So I think, so what I'm saying is, like, I have seen your plan. It's a couple bullet points.
Yeah.
I've also been a part of a council that has looked at housing from experts on housing, and that was not a couple bullet points.
Right.
So I think you should read that.
And how are they? Are they? I mean,
Look, they're imperfect. Of course. I'm not saying that any of this isn't open for critique.
Right,
but like, critique without a solution is whining. So at the end of the day, like, I am down to critique all of these things. But if we're going to talk about affordable housing, I think that I want to hear a plan around what kind of legislation will you introduce to make sure that we protect people who are being evicted today?
Right.
What are we going to, when we're talking about bonds or using financial vehicles for people to be protected in their houses or to protect legacy residents, what are you going to do and how are you going to push that? You can't unilaterally come in and be like, I'm going to move money from here to there.
No,
you can't do that.
So that's the thing. Have you read, well, I mean, I don't know, have you read?
Walk me through what I didn't read that you think is your most
Not on me,
compelling.
Not on me, but on the actual city of Atlanta, on the powers and duties of the mayor.
I'm familiar with those,
Okay.
yes.
So, like, there's certain things that they can and cannot do. And so,
That is true.
like, they can introduce things, but they
Absolutely.
can't. That's as far as they can go. And so, like, you have to have the support of your council. That's why I'm trying to, right now, creating a Make Atlanta Safe Again City Council compromise.
You say make Atlanta safe again?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
why that moniker?
That moniker, because I feel like safety is on both ends. Safety in crime and safety in being safe, knowing that your house is not going to be taken, you're not going to be evicted, or that you're not going to lose your job. You know, their safety is like a circle.
So I'm going to give you a shot to, and I think we can talk about any other issue areas that you want to, and then we can wrap. But for you, walk me through a piece of public safety measures, legislation, ordinance. Is that your mom?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay. All right. I heard your phone ringing, so I was like,
working,
all right,
right.
if it was your mom, I would been like, we could stop for that. So I want to know, give me a very specific, you want to do a paramilitary thing. I think it was here.
Yeah. It was
You got paramilitary. We got People's Patrol.
Yeah, that's
Address illegal weapons. You want to have some drones.
Yep.
City-owned drones for public safety. I don't know what I don't know what any of that means.
The drones are very important because the drones will help relieve stress from the officers, as well as just think about I don't like to use, things for whatever, but the park murder that happened, just say for instance, I heard they had like 9 cameras in the park, right? If there was an officer 2 blocks down the road controlling a drone in that area at the park, right? He would have been able to see that person walking or trailing her or whatever, and but drive to where it is, because he's only a block or 2 away, and intercept that situation from happening. That's just a if or hypothetical situation.
I think we want to be
Same thing with
okay.
with any the young man or the both. It was 2 teenagers that shot the security guard at Lenox Mall. Situations like where an officer is not present or can't be present. I don't think the solution to crime is hiring 800 officers or
Okay.
a million officers.
So I hear what you think the solution is not. Now walk me through an actual ordinance, resolution, policy, legislation, measure, executive order, anything.
So executive
Walk
order.
me through what you would do, how you would do it, and we'll close there.
Cool. So when it comes to executive orders, the mayor, they have the power or the authority to preserve the life of the city based on their opinion, right? That's what I read from what I saw.
That is bold, but yes,
it's very bold.
It's also not completely true, but yes,
It's
yes.
very bold. They leave it open to, I guess,
to the law until
to the
you
law,
break
right,
it,
to-
and then
exactly. and then they'll crash you, right?
Right.
But basically, that is how the avenue that you go down when you want to enforce certain things regarding public safety. And so when it comes to the drones or the People's Patrol, anything regarding my public safety plan, it'll be introduced through legislation first.
Yeah.
If that doesn't work, if the council, that's why I'm trying to create a council that understands and that actually.
What do you mean you're
wants-
trying to create a council? What does that mean?
So I'm trying to create a council, meaning individuals that I know I will be able to work with.
But how would you create the council? What do you mean?
Well, first of all, I've sent out emails to all of them,
Okay.
reaching out to them to meet with them to.
Have any of them met
sit
with
down
you?
for Moon. No, because I actually just sent it out to them 2 days ago and
Okay.
asked them to respond by Friday, because I want people that are serious. So once they actually qualify, I'll know who is actually serious or not for running.
Got it.
But that's my whole goal behind making that council, because once I have 15 individuals that have seen my plan and say, you know what, I like that, I think that we can put some fire behind that, then I have 15 individuals I can start sitting down with before the election, and we can go ahead and get legislation and getting things started now. That way, once we get elected together, everyone who's qualified and running, we can go ahead and start getting things rolling, because we really don't have time to waste. The
Yeah.
election is in November, you get inaugurated in January. Like, you really don't have that much
Sure,
time.
yeah.
So that's my whole purpose of creating this council. And like I said, if the legislation doesn't work, that's when you step into executive orders. You understand? Meaning that
I do understand.
yeah, I know.
But
I say that a lot. But
no. I wasn't trying to. I'm just saying, like, I don't think that that's how it works. Is why I'm. It's
I
not.
understand.
It's not. Oh, the legislation didn't work, therefore I'm now going to do this and decree it through executive order.
Well,
I'm just saying that's not the order of operations of how that would work.
Well, this is the thing. Unfortunately, that's how they set it up. That's how the people who wrote this, the Constitution, the for Georgia, for the United States, for all that, and whoever wrote the municipal code for Atlanta. I mean, that's just unfortunate. That's just how they set it up.
Yeah.
So like, I think, and that's why I'm creating the people's media, because the people, first of all,
Like Channel 26.
yeah, something like that. Well, where actual people who live in Atlanta, they're given the opportunity to tell their side of what's going on, because our media, is very biased.
Sure.
And then it'll also be coming from our end, from the administration side. We'll be coming out and giving, daily press conferences, weekly forums, and monthly, town halls where residents will be able to come to City Hall, sit down with the council, ask questions. We'll update them on what's going on. Just make it more informative, because like I was on a radio interview yesterday. Like I told them, we have to understand that once we get elected, it's just because we got elected doesn't mean we get to just do whatever we want. It's the people who got us there, and they're really the ones that, get to make most of the decisions. I think that we should look to them for what they want to do, and then look on making those things happen.
Got
you
it.
see what I'm saying?
Yep.
I see a lot of legislation being introduced based off of, the person's opinion. But what about everybody else's,
Yeah, which is why executive order would not necessarily
that's
be the
why
right
I say
way
so
to
we're
do
going
it.
to,
Right?
the first thing would be starting with some type of legislation, and not just from the council. That's why I say we're going to have town halls, because I want people to be involved in legislation.
Sure,
They need to be sitting down, coming in, telling us ideas and giving us, like it needs to be like a all-inclusive type of thing.
Yep.
So I think that's how we'll be able to move forward in this city, is by hearing the voices of the people first. And when I was on the streets, like I said, I have a restaurant, and I passed out food to the homeless the day before yesterday. And while I was out there, they were so glad, because they usually get like cold sandwiches and stuff like that, but they had burgers, waffles, wings, and chicken. They had a good food, a good time. But the thing about it, the most issues that I heard were about safety, and that they don't feel that the people who are in power are listening to them when it comes to safety, and when it comes to I always say safety, because it's about living on the street. Like, they don't feel safe where they live, and they don't feel safe with the crime that's going on. I talked to a homosexual, and he told me, that's my community, because great people, like, out of everybody, I love the LGBT community, because they know how to get turned, right? But this is the thing.
That's why you love them, because they know how to get turned.
Okay, but
if that's the platform, that's the platform.
I mean,
right?
I love him, but he was living next to a guy who was aggressive. He was telling me, like, this guy, he's threatening me at night. He was slamming boxes in my face, but they have tents right there on Pryor Street by the Fulton County District Attorney's office. They literally are sleeping in their tents right there. And so, he's telling me, like, is there something that you can do? I've wrote a letter to Keisha. I've asked the police. I've asked them to move him asked him to leave, trespass him from my area. This is my house, because they believe that, where they have their tents, that's their home. That's, that's their address or whatever. And so it's those type of problems that I want to address.
So let's actually get to those. We have a couple questions, and then going to wrap from there. So a couple questions that came in. The first question was around your plan to combat people experience, the challenge of people experiencing homelessness in Atlanta. You mentioned that you have experienced it yourself. What does that have to do with your plan? Like, how does that ingrained in your plan to address that in Atlanta?
So to address homelessness specifically, it's more so about redirecting the funds.
Yeah.
So that 250 million that was given to United Way and those organizations, that money should have been just used by the city. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but municipal enterprise, that's a thing. So municipalities, they're allowed to have businesses and open them, operate them for city revenue, and they're able to put that money back into the community. So I'm just trying to figure out, where are our municipal enterprises, right?
Okay.
I don't know of any. I mean, I know for a fact that our city services are. That's what those are, like such as
Correct.
the airport. That's one of, like I definitely know that. But I'm talking about on a larger, on a larger scale and on a more encompassing scale that helps people like homeless. So meaning that if we take that 250 million and create our own homes or build our own homes,
Yep.
you've seen that we have 750 acres of abandoned, unused land. So like you said out of your own mouth, I don't know how legislation works all the way, but I'll find out how we can use that land to make it for affordable housing.
Got it.
I think that's why I said I don't like politicians, because most of these issues is just about politics. It's just people playing politics, because
That's what we see on the outside. On the inside, it's about policy.
Policy, right? But you can create. That's what we have council for, right? I mean, they create the policies. They create this stuff. That's why I said it's good to have 15 people that get along.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
15 people that's having lunch before. That's going to whatever we need to do to get that team building going before we get elected. That way, we're not publicly shaming each other or
I got you.
You get what I'm saying? So that's how we'll be able to do that.
Okay. Other question I want to ask you is, what NPU do you live in?
You said who?
What NPU do you live in?
MPU.
NPU. Do you know what an NPU is?
I think I was looking those up.
Okay.
And that's.
It wasn't a trick question at all. I'm not trying to throw you off. The neighborhood planning unit system.
Okay, yeah.
Are you familiar with the neighborhood planning unit system?
Yeah, I was like, that's what I was using to find the districts of all of these apartment complexes. I'm doing a tour, so yeah.
Okay, so which NPU do you attend?
So I really don't know.
Okay.
I really don't know.
Okay.
Because I know I'm in District 3, but
I got you.
Yeah,
do you have a familiarity with the role of the neighborhood planning unit system? Like, what does it do?
Well, what do they do?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I know for a fact that I know what they are supposed to do, or some of the things that they're supposed to do, meaning like some of the zoning and requirements, creating some of the requirements for like people that can come into the neighborhood. Certain, like if I wanted to build a house in the neighborhood or something like that, they deal with stuff like that.
So the NPU system is a historic system. It's imperfect for sure, but it provides advisory for neighborhoods to be able to provide input on the city's planning plans, its budget in the past, but it really is a communications tool in a lot of ways for departments to be able to talk directly to residents.
Sure.
I bring that up because I think, and I bring that up because I think there's an opportunity for you to think about engaging with that system to be able to directly reach residents, to be able to understand kind of what they're going through, what they're not. And I'd be interested to hear, once you do that, would love for you to follow up to be like, how did you find that experience with the NPU system? And if you were mayor, you would have engagement, hopefully, with those planning systems, because they are supposed to be your vehicle into neighborhoods and into communities. So I think there's a huge opportunity there. So I'm not going to ask about your plans to engage with NPUs. I'm told you live in NPU-J, so that's which is good. So you should check that out. And then I think that. From there, it'd be interesting to hear about how you want to improve, change, keep the same parts of that system. I think that'd be worth hearing in the future.
Gotcha.
Last question I have for you, and then we're going to close out, is I think that I want to end where I started, which is like I actually think that it is very important for young folks to be involved in this process, and I can give you a hard time all day long, but at the end of the day, I actually think it is amazing that you are, spending time like putting yourself through this process.
Right.
I want you to still consider what I was talking about up until Friday.
I will.
But I think that for you, your voice is going to be one that a lot of young people are going to look at and say, how does he keep going? Like, what's the thing that like, you are running businesses. You are like very engaged in family. You are like, you care about the community. You care about the city. That is clear to me.
Right.
What would you tell a young person who is like seeing you as a role model, seeing you as someone who has persevered through a lot, clearly? What's kept you resilient? What has kept you going?
So what I will say is that don't listen to anybody. I know you probably
Except the people who are going to.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's
right.
it. But don't I'll tell my young people, right? Listen to people that are walking in the shoes that you're wanting to go, in the direction that you're wanting to go, or in the pool that you want to swim in. Put it like that, because a lot of people say what they can do and what they're doing, or what you shouldn't do, or what you should be doing. But in reality, you should do what's in your heart. Whatever you feel like you want to do, don't stop until it's done. And so I think that's just the biggest. That's really what kept me going.
Yeah, no doubt.
Like that's all I heard was like, now you sure before you open a restaurant you don't want to like start catering first, or
Right.
Maybe start cooking plates out the house. I'm like, no, I don't. That's
Yeah.
not what I don't. That's not what I feel for myself.
Right.
It's more so just about what do you like for you. I don't know exactly what you're doing, but you look happy. So as long as
I'm not. So this is great. I'm doing
Wow.
great. I'm just kidding.
Okay,
I'm
but
just
that's
kidding.
the thing.
I'm just kidding.
As long as you're doing what you
Yeah.
love, I think that you'll be good. And
Yeah.
don't let no one tell you that's not good, or you should be doing something else if that's what you love to do.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I respect that. I think if people want to learn more about your campaign, where can they go to learn more?
So you can actually go to RooseveltThePeoplesMayor.org. You can also go to my Instagram, Roosevelt for Mayor of ATL. You can also call me directly, 470-377-3448. What else? We got Twitter. The website has all of my contact information on there. But that's where I really want people to focus on, the website, because, that's where you will be able to get some information about me, and then you can also reach out. I'm always open to sit downs. I'll be having some virtual, like we're having now. Every Friday, I'll be having some virtual Zooms, as well as on the radio. What is it going to be? Wigo 1570 AM. It's like a gospel station.
Okay.
I know my age is not going to be listening, but hey, I'm going through all the
Gospel's back, man. I don't downplay it.
Okay,
So,
and they told me they got some new gospel, like R&B or something. I don't know.
I've recently heard trap gospel.
That's what they call it.
That is a real thing. I've heard it.
Yep.
There are bangers in there. Like
I'm
I was
scared.
like,
I'm
yeah,
scared to hear
yeah,
them,
yeah. I mean, it's all clean.
Okay.
But
All
like,
right,
it's
all
all
right.
clean. Nothing like that. It's all clean. It's just it
It just rocks, right?
slaps. Yeah, it's
Okay.
nice. I just learned slaps from my interns, so I've been using that. Thank you so much for being here, Roosevelt.
Yeah,
Just want to make sure that everybody stays engaged and involved. We are unlike a lot of other places, we are interviewing every single person who is running for this office, for the office of the mayor. Qualifying is this Friday, so if there's anybody who does not meet qualifying, we may have some schedules that change. But every Wednesday between now and the end of September, we will be hosting conversations with candidates for mayor. We will have one next Wednesday. We're very excited to bring that to life. Again, want to thank all the partners that are involved in it, and most importantly, everyone, vote. vote, 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 vote. Make sure you vote. The election is on November the 2nd. It is very important that we see turnout in numbers that will be representative and allow us to elect the people who we want to see lead the city in possibly the most important time in the city's history. So I appreciate you.
Yeah, don't worry about your president, okay? Worry about your local officials.
Look, that might be one of the first things we really agree on. I like that. Yeah, I agree with that.
Definitely.
All right, thanks, y'all. Appreciate you. Have a good morning.
All right.
Cool. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
Awesome.
That was great.